All right, folks, good morning. Welcome to Introduction to Java class. I'm actually taking the class using my wife's laptop because I didn't want to uninstall and install some things in my work computer, so wanted to leave that out. So you probably noticed that I'm presenting um, through her account, but let me know if there's any issues with sound or the visuals that you see if I need to change things because I haven't done it this way before. But anyway, this is probably the most important class out of all because this is going to set the foundation for you to understand and work with Java. Java is the key to automation engineering. If you know this language well, you are in high demand in the market. You can switch to any other languages on the fly because everything else, for example, C# and Python, those are also popular languages, but those are kind of they derived from Java, meaning they try to simplify Java, make things easier. So if you are very good with Java, then all the other programming languages are going to be even easier because it's simplified. The concepts are same, sometimes words here and there are different, and you have to write a lot less for some of the other ones like Python and C# than what you would do in Java. But my goal is to make things very easy so that you don't even feel like you're learning something rocket science. And actually it's not. Humans do it. So it all depends on how easy I make it for you. If I make it easy for you, then you're gonna feel like you're good at it. And if the teacher is bad, then often what we do is we blame ourselves. We think that we're not worth it. So I hope what I have to present for you today, it's going to be easy. That's my guess, but you can let me know and I can work on it. I was gonna cram things up and do 2 classes this weekend, but I didn't want to do that with y'all. I wanted to take a step back and look at my notes from before and wanted to see how I can approach you all in a very baby step way. And then later on, when you catch on stuff, I can go faster. Like the Selenium classes, I can go faster. But these foundation classes, I don't want to overload you and lose you. And generally in the training centers when I taught about, you're not going to believe, 70% students would drop out after Java. When they start Java, maybe halfway they drop out. And then 30% students stick around till the end. And out of those 30% students, there's going to be about 50% students that would get a job and the others somehow, I don't know, go somewhere or drop out then or doesn't do the job searching and doesn't put effort. So I am not in a volume business because I don't accept. I'm only doing word of mouth enrollment. I'm not out there getting anybody, and I don't want students that come in and drop out. I have some selective ones. I see good future, and all of you all, I see the potential, and I see all of you are gonna get job if you stick around with this. So, and my job is to make things easy for you. Homework this week was so busy I wasn't able to get to it, but I promise this over this week, I'm gonna go ahead, grade those and send it back to you. But I believe that most of y'all got it right. I don't think I can even put a scratch on it. Like last weekend, I couldn't even put any corrections on it. So I have no doubt there, but I will double check. Some of the homeworks going forward, it's going to be a bit of a difficult for you to submit other than just copy pasting code. So you are going to start writing codes starting this weekend, and you're going to have homeworks on it. So I already have a homework for you for Java. I'll explain that to you later on. This page right here has your stuff that you need for the introduction to Java. Let me go through this. I didn't want you to go in there and try to download things and not be able to finish it halfway. Then it makes a mess. You may have to clean up things. And I didn't want your start to be like that. Now, I don't want you to follow what I'm doing today. I want you to just watch and ask me questions. And you come back to this video and then you install it. You can fast forward it at that point to the point that you need to be. But hopefully, if you're paying very close attention, you're not going to have to do a whole lot to download Java and what else you have to do. So, but anyway, that will be your after my classes task, is to download Java and start working on your homework. Now, if you get stuck for some reason, I have a lot of instructions. I'm going to demo you right now, and I also have written instructions on how to download it. If you get stuck in any step of the way that you can't even download and start working, I want you to call me, like call my cell number, because I don't want you to wait on this thing at all. I need you to start putting your fingers on the keyboard and start typing and playing and building something and creating something. Remember, half of your work day is going to be working with writing automation code. So you'll be in front of the computer writing code. You have to develop a sense of interest in it. If you can't develop that, then you're not going to enjoy it. Your work is going to be like you don't want to get to it, or it's going to be hard. You are not going to be successful. So I want to make it fun for you. I want to give you some game-like stuff for you to create and look at your performance and see it, feel it, and be excited about it, so that you want to always do that. Frankly, in my work, I wish I was doing 8 hours of coding. I hated coding when I was in college. I don't know why. Maybe because of my professors. I remember when I went to, I took an Ada.NET class, which is like ancient right now. Took the class. I mean, it wasn't that difficult, but the professor never really explained how this whole thing works out and why am I doing this coding thing, and I was like up till sometimes up all night trying to submit an assignment of some sort of code, and I felt like I don't want this to be my job. I want to be in front of people. That was my excuse to get out of it. But what I realized, that working in front of people makes me less money, and I have to deal with people's crap, and that's not fun, because after a while it burns, because you make less money and then you have to deal with people and from various walks of life and customer service and things like that. Serving people like that it's not the best job you want. It's not a happy job. But now I realize that sitting in front of the computer when I have a project and I am doing it in my own pace. I am relaxed, drinking coffee, taking breaks when I want to. I am not under any kind of time pressure or so. I like that. That's wonderful. I can work from home. I can relax, get enough money to support the family. I mean, this is it's test automation engineering job is rated one of the best and the happiest job in the United States. So if you can get to it, this is gonna be awesome. You have to develop a passion for writing code. And my job is to walk you through that and make you feel good about it. And hopefully I can develop a passion in you in doing this coding. And if you walk that road of coding, get the foundation from me, and then when you get a job, go dig in farther. See if you want to be a developer. I think the developers are even better off than us because they shove a lot of work on us. But developers, they got this little ticket, small task that they have to automate. Sometimes it's 2-3 lines of code that they have to change or update, and they take the whole day for it, and the rest of the time they're goofing off. So, and making a lot more money than us. But anyway, you got a lot of opportunities out there. Any questions before I start the class? Can you all hear me?
So should we follow links and try to install at the same time you are doing, or should we just watch?
I wouldn't recommend, because what happens is I've done that in the past with my other groups. You will have to jump back and forth, and I end up in different students in different spots, and their computers work different speed, and then everybody starts asking me questions, and it was like totally out of control class. And trust me, you don't want that. You want your class to be smooth, fast, and clean. You don't want to see your instructor losing control of your class. So let me take control. Let me demo you, and this video is gonna be yours, and you can watch it, fast forward it, and record it and download these things in a heartbeat. So you're not gonna have issues. And I'm giving you my phone number today. You call me as long as you want to, whenever. I don't care. I want you to have these installed and start with your first program. Make sure that it's working. Okay? Any other question?
Not from me.
All right. Let's get started. So what do we have? We are going to learn what Java is, what JDK is, Jre, JVM, and IDE. There's a whole lot of these acronyms that you need to know what they are, what they stand for, what they mean. They're going to probably ask you some of these in the interviews. So, and not just that, when you are in the software industry, you have to communicate with these languages. Sometimes in a conversation with your boss, he may say some things with these words and acronyms, and you need to catch up on it and try to piece together what it is. So just know it briefly. Try to marinate it in your minds. Okay, so let's get started first. So what is Java? Java is a high-level programming language. What does high level mean? It means it's human readable. That means kind of like our own English language. We're going to be writing like as if we're writing in English literature, but that high level code is going to go into low, and then deep into just zeros and ones for your computer to understand. Originally, Java was developed by Sun Microsystems, and now it's owned by Oracle. The same Oracle SQL that you've been working with is the owner of Java. However, they don't sell Java, it's free. Java is platform independent. That means you can write anywhere. You can write the code on any platform, meaning Windows, Mac, or Linux. I don't care where. You write the code in any computer, and you can run it in your computer and any other's computer. That's why they have a slogan called "Write once and run anywhere." It is object-oriented, and object-oriented, I cannot explain you in one word. The whole Java is going to be, I will explain what object is slowly. That's a huge word. You will see how that kind of plays out. I was confused about what is object. I mean, the entire class I took, the training that I was in, nobody could ever explain the whole thing to me. But I've learned what object is maybe after I signed up for my job, 6 months after I signed up the job. So I'll explain what that is later. Java supports web-based applications, meaning what you're seeing right now, the GoToMeeting class that you're doing, Google websites and stuff, all of these are most likely made out of Java, if not C# or Python, but chances are it's Java. It is a very robust language, programming language, mainly because it has exceptional error handling. It will show you what errors you're making. You can control those errors, thinking that I want you to bypass those errors, meaning if your code fails, you can control with Java so that your code doesn't fail. I'll teach you more about that in 3-4 sessions later. All of these will come into more details. I hate to do theories first because I can't really explain it, but sometimes I need to. So anyway, just don't panic if you don't understand fully. You will understand this in about a month. It is secure, meaning it has its own security system built in, and it's open source, meaning it's free. Java is also multi-threaded, meaning with Java, you can do multitasking and jump from one task to the other. Kind of like human beings, we are texting and driving, or on the phone and driving. Not a good example, but Java can do multiple tasks. They're called multi-threading instead of multitasking. So you won't hear the word multitasking anymore. If you ever hear the word multi-threaded or multi-threading, that means the same thing as if human was doing 2 things or 3 things or 4 things at the same time. Questions about what is Java in a high level?
No.
Then what are other programming languages out there? Well, Java, if you see, it's like this cup with the coffee. Java, it's a, I think, coffee brand from Sumatra Island or something. I don't know much about. You might know more than me, but that was the name the team decided to add, and they went from there. By the way, if you can click on this icon here, and it's gonna take you to history of Java and how they got the namings and stuff. I'm gonna spare you all that detail because nobody's gonna ask you in the interview about that. But if you're curious, you can click on it and go read about it. I don't want to bore you with that. Anyway, these are some of the most important languages out there. Java happens to be the number 1. We got C++, C# right here, and C++. These are number 2nd. Python is 3rd. They're coming up pretty much. Python is coming up very well. It might even replace the popularity of C# someday. Ruby, you're gonna hear that. So those 4 are really in high demand. You may see a lot of jobs asking for Java. Java is the most jobs right now, and some of the interviews you might have on C# or Python. And I'm going to give you a bit of a gist of these languages, and most likely they're going to be on your resume as well. So if the interviewer asks you if you know Java, if you know C# or Python, you should say yes, but panic not, because I'm going to show you how they're different, but only when you're completely done with Java. I'll have a class for you on those other language frameworks, and you'll be surprised, like, wow, yeah, I can do that. It's even easier. That will be your comment. Anyway, there are other ones called PHP, Node.js. My company, one of the department uses Node.js, and those guys are asking me to do some coding with Node.js. And I'm so busy, I have been putting it off, but I think I need to kind of go and brush up on these. You can learn about these languages in W3 School for free. Anyway, JavaScript and Scala is another one. JavaScript is used heavily on these websites as well. There's a difference between Java and JavaScript. JavaScript is much easier. Java is a little more complex. But what JavaScript does is it will do these animations on your screen, the scroll bar up and down, the drop down window that pops up. All of those kind of movement of things are done by JavaScript. We're going to be using a little bit of a JavaScript with Java to manipulate websites. We're going to control those buttons and scroll down things using JavaScript, but not a whole lot, just some of it. And it's pretty easy. I'll show you that too. What is platform independence? I think I can just don't look at this too much and try to make sense of it. All I want you to understand from this diagram is that the way that when you write code, it's gonna be written on a piece of paper, or in computer electronics, it's a file. You're gonna write code in a file, and that file will be saved with .java as an extension. Those extensions matter because computer looks at that .java and knows what to do with it. If it's a .doc or .doc, computer knows, you just probably wrote a fancy letter or something, or some text. Nothing else to do about it. If it's a .ptp power or PPT PowerPoint presentation, computer knows how to present it. If you open it up, it's going to look for that application to present it. Same way, if you write a code, it's going to be saved with .java extension, and computer knows that, I need to compile this code so that it comes up with something. So that's all you need to know right now. Now, there are some things happen when you, after you write a code. After you write code, the code needs to be compiled. This word you're going to hear a lot. So to compile the code, meaning put things together. It's like you got a whole lot of transistors and registers and all the electrical components that you just put together in your code. It needs to put together and really like bind it together for computer to understand what is going on. So all the connectivities is called compile. So it's going to compile. Once it compiles, it converts to another type of code called bytecode. And this code is not so much of a human readable. And after the bytecode, it goes to something called Java Virtual Machine, which I'm going to have you download today. That virtual machine will take this code and convert it into zeros and ones. Now, this virtual machine is the key to platform independence for Java. Why? Because all platforms understand zeros and ones. Okay, Mac understands zeros and ones, Windows zeros and ones, Linux zeros and ones. So when JVM or Java Virtual Machine converts code to zeros and ones, then any platform will understand. But that does mean that if you're using Mac, you still have to download the JVM for you to use Java code in that machine. Same thing goes for Windows and Linux. You must have the JVM or Java Virtual Machine for the Java code to be compiled and sent to the processor of those operating systems for them to understand what this code is and how to utilize it. Any questions about what platform independence is?
No.
You are only going to probably in the interview say that if they say why Java is important, this platform independence is one of the things. And if they ask you, can you explain what that means? If you can even say 20% of what I said, that's more than enough. Because most folks know what this is, but even some of those geeks that are experts in computers won't be able to explain things well. Not everybody can explain, but they know stuff. Let's look a little bit deeper into how the code builds. So here's your source code. Source code is meaning what you wrote. So in a way, take that as a definition. When you write a code, it's called source code. Okay, it's in a file, kind of like you're writing a letter in a Word document. Same way, no difference. You're just gonna write it on like a Word document, but it's not gonna say .doc. It's gonna say .java, or it's gonna say .class. Once you write that code, somebody needs to take that code and make sense of it, and that's your compiler, which I'm gonna have you download today. Okay. So the compiler is going to compile the code. There are several other steps in here, which I'm not going to go deeper into it. Even I don't know technically what goes in, but I know the names that it would be converted into an object file, and then it's going to link with some other files that you have in Java. It's going to create, finally, it's going to create an executable file. Okay, the whole compiler process is going to create an executable file, exe. What is exe? Executable file is something that you can, if you ever downloaded something on your computer to install, those things are executable file. It's an application that if you click open, it's going to do something. It's going to build something or install something or works a certain way. So anytime you write a code, they go through this process and creates an executable file. You're going to download two things today, and both of those are actually executable files. So and then again, you're going to write codes that are going to become executable files. When you have the executable file and you kick it off, it has the potential to go deep into your processor, which is the heart or brain of your computer, okay? And your processor looks at those ones and zeros that this executable file is commanding it, and that file will command the processor, and you will end up seeing something on your screen or the application that you build. The product is going to come out as an output. Okay, so source code, your code is the input. In between, there is this whole machine, which is Java Virtual Machine or JVM, doing all that stuff that you don't care. But when you kick off your code, it goes through your processor or CPU, central processing unit, and comes out as an output. And this could be a beautiful output. For example, this web application that I'm doing this presentation on, it's going through your processor and coming out as a beautiful output right here. It's also working kind of in the similar fashion. Somebody created this application. There's the source code, which is getting compiled, going through the processor, and then coming up in a beautiful output way. Any questions about this?
No, no questions.
Don't worry about it too much. Nobody's going to ask you interview questions on this. I just wanted you to understand how things happen in a very high level, because in very deep level, these processes has already been created 30, 50 years ago. And these things has not changed in a while. What has been changing is the source code, meaning how you write the code, whether it's a Java or whether it's Python or C#, that has been changing. Processor has been changing. It has been becoming smaller and smaller every day. And output, user output has been changing. With programming language, people are getting smarter and smarter and writing better codes, fancier codes, and the output of the screen is becoming just beautiful. A lot of companies are updating their website, even though they have a full working website, but they're updating because they see that now with newer codes, you can have a better graphical user interface for your customers, and you want to stay up in the game, and therefore they're just converting page by page to the new that they can get. More of that I'll show you in the real life in my own project. Okay. So 3 things you need to know. One, you already heard, Java virtual machine. The other is called Java runtime environment. And then the last one is, I listed this twice, sorry. This should have been Java development kit, which I'm going to have a whole slide on it, so we'll explain that. Let me explain what this Java virtual machine, in a nutshell, what it's doing and how it's doing this. You have this in the core of this, taking the bytecode and then converting things into zeros and ones. You have this machine called Java virtual machine. If they ask you, what does it do? You just say Java virtual machine takes the bytecode and converts it into zeros and ones. Now, on top of that, what you have is Java runtime environment. The runtime environment contains the Java virtual machine along with library of files and codes. These are the fundamental codes of Java that controls the virtual machine. So together, this is called Java Runtime Environment, or JRE. Now, this whole JRE thing is inside something called JDK. So JDK contains JRE, and JRE contains JVM, or Java Virtual Machine. So technically, if you just download JDK, you have the JRE and JVM as well. Now, why can't I just download JVM and work with it? Well, it's not going to work without all the library of codes that JRE has. So JRE is a complete of library of codes that the creator of Java created, which contains the Java virtual machine and ways to control it. Now, just JRE may or may not work, but what you need is something called a debugger and a compiler. The compiler and debugger is only located with Java Development Kit. Kit is like a packet. It's like a tool set. Okay, so Java development kit is a tool set that has other features like debugging, and we'll talk more about debugging later, and compiling that we talked about, compiling the code, which happens to have the JRE and JVM with it. So, frankly, we're only going to need to install JDK, because if we install JDK, we're going to have JRE and Java Virtual Machine. Any questions about this?
No, no questions.
Okay. Shobus, what's a smaller unit, JVM or JDK?
JVM.
Correct. Desmond, what's smaller unit, JDK or JRE?
Jre.
Correct. Good job. Then what do I need for Java? Well, you need two things. One, you need JDK, which is Java Development Kit that we talked about. And you need to install something called IDE, or Integrated Development Environment. So let's take a look at what these are. What is JDK? JDK stands for Java Development Kit. You need JDK to develop applications and applets. Applets are small apps that you use in your own local computer. It's not web-based at all. Sometimes when you download those apps from like game apps that doesn't require any internet access or something on your phone, those are called applets, and those are also produced by Java. Okay. Web applications and Java applets. It contains JRE, which you saw in the previous slide. It contains the compiler and the debugger. It contains all libraries, files to build and compile Java programs. So the whole shebang you need is JDK. You don't want to work with JRE. And one of the things you're going to notice, the JRE will be installed automatically, but we're going to point our applications towards JDK instead of JRE. More of that shortly. Now, what is IDE? IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. It is actually a software to write the code to develop softwares. Okay, it's kind of like Microsoft Word. What do you do in Microsoft Word? You type. And does Microsoft Word help you correct your spellings?
Yes, yes.
And grammar and suggestions?
Sometimes,
Well, yeah. So guess what? This IDE is that Integrated Development Environment, is a software kind of like Microsoft Word. It's going to help you write the code. Meaning if you make a mistake, if your spelling is wrong, if your logic is wrong, your grammar is wrong, this IDE is going to help you write better code. Therefore, you're going to do this effortlessly. You don't have to memorize things. You just have to have a logic of it, which I will give that to you. Now, the beauty of this IDE is going to automatically complete your code, meaning you can just write like 4 or 5 letters, and sometimes it will autofill it and say, did you mean you wanted to write this? Then you select it and it's going to select it for you. It's going to do automatic error detection. If you made a mistake spelling or your logic is wrong, it's going to suggest you that, hey, did you mean this? Or there is an error because of this. It has a built-in debugger. What debugger is, if there is a bug, which is like a fault in your code, you wrote a bad code, it will let you go into that code and pause the program run and dissect pieces and check to see what went wrong. More of that we'll show you in a demo a couple sessions from now. Built-in documentation, what that means is whatever you're writing, it's going to store it and acts like a documentation. You can pull some reports out of it from this software. It has testing tools, which we're going to be using. You'll see. Deployment, we talked about how code moves from one environment to the other and we deploy them. So these softwares will help us take those files and deploy from one environment to the other, and you will see that. And varying view of code, meaning that you can view your code in various different ways, more readable ways. It's going to align it for you. You don't have to worry about, oh, do I put a space here? Do I don't want to put a space here? Do I want to put a line here? No, you just press a magic key and it's going to make it beautiful for you automatically. You just write messy and then it's going to make it beautiful. So you don't even have to make it beautiful yourself. Okay, the software will do it for you. Any questions about what IDE is?
No, no questions.
Then what are some of those IDEs out there? Well, we got Microsoft Word for Microsoft Word, and then we got like open source, and then there's that Notepad that we saw, and I don't know if Mac operating system has a WordPad, something like that. But IDE, similarly, there are a lot of companies have a lot of IDEs. Some are for free, others are for sale. Some companies have both a free version and a sale version. So let's take a look at what are those softwares out there. I put it in a chart like this, so just to give you an idea of the popularity of these softwares. The very top one, if you notice, that one is called Eclipse. 60% of the market share uses Eclipse. Reason for that is it's very easy, great for the beginners, and that's the one we're going to be using, folks, to have you learn Java and also to automate websites. And just one second. The next level is Intellij. It's called Intellij, and that is the second best. My company uses this one. When I joined my company, I had zero idea that there was such thing called Intellij. My training center did not teach me that. I had zero idea that there was something called NetBeans. In fact, I had no idea that if there was anything else other than Eclipse. You need to know these major ones, at least these three, the names of it. You don't know which company you're going to end up, and you might end up with Intellij. I'm going to show you, demo you Intellij, but I won't have you automate anything on it. They work very similar. All three of them are very similar. If you know how to work with one, rolling into another, it's probably just a weekend. You just need a weekend to browse around and figure it out that, oh, this is how it is for this one. Just a few things here and there different. However, there are some, the way it presents your code is different for all three. And I've looked at Eclipse and Intellij. I like Intellij now more so than Eclipse, but I don't think Intellij is best to teach the new ones because it is a little more of a sophisticated, and there are some extra steps needed for this, but Eclipse makes things much easy. You're going to see that today you're able to write code with just a few click of a button. You should be able to become a programmer. There are some other ones you don't need to know those names, and they're not very popular. Questions before I move on?
So those are the tools, like third-party tools, that's where we can code?
Correct. So you're going to write your code on these third-party tools, and most of these, I think they have a community version. I know Intellij has a community version and they have a professional version, and you have to pay for the professional version. But weirdly enough, guys, our company's entire automation job, some serious stuff that we do it on the community version for free. I mean, we don't really need to pay. Everything is free. Java is free, and to write the code on a software is also free. Every tools that I'm going to show you, all the way to Selenium, you're going to see it's all free. You just have to just be the master of it, know how to download things. And that's why I wanted to be with you on this class, because I wanted to show you how to download things. And you need to learn how to download it, because you as an automation engineer maybe not needed to download, but if you want to become an architect, which you should, you don't settle for less. You get this job. If you just want to stay put and want to do your job, remember, what I understand is, if you are not growing, then you are shrinking. There is no in between. You can't say, oh, I found my best job and I'm just going to play like this and roll with it and do my status quo and I'll be okay because I got enough money and I'm fine. No, never. If you do that, you're going to slow down, and there will be people that will take over you and they will lay you off, and they will hire that better person. You always want to do more, and you want to get better, and so forth. So and the best job security you can have, become the QA manager, where you hire people, you fire people, you lay off people. You want to be in that position, and for you to do that, you need to understand how to install stuff. Okay, you got to set up the platform for your company and then hire people to do the work for you. And I want you to focus that way. That's why I want you to take this very seriously. Hold on one second. So, going back to what do we need to install? We need to install two things. One, we need to install JDK because it has it all for Java Virtual Machine, Java Runtime environment. And second thing we need to install is IDE. Where am I going to write the code? That's the IDE for. And what we're going to install is Eclipse. Now, there is no different kinds of versions of JDK. There's only one JDK in the world, and that Oracle has. But where you want to write, you saw you can use Eclipse, Intellij, or NetBeans. We are just going to install Eclipse because it's easier. Okay? Now, do you want to take 5 minutes break before we start the installation? Let's do that. It's 11 o'clock. Let's take 5 minutes break. Is that all right?
Yeah.
That's
All right, guys, y'all back?
Yeah, we're back.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. All right, so now we're going to download these things and start working on it. Before we do that, does order matter? Can I download Eclipse first, then I download Java? Order matters. You have to download Java first, then you download Eclipse, because once you download Java and then you download Eclipse, Eclipse will marinate. While it's downloading, it's going to marinate and connect to some of the things that you have in Java. So yeah, you can do it the other way around. Then you have to do a whole lot of system settings to mess things up. Don't do it. Okay, just do the Java first, then Eclipse. Over the course of next several months, I would highly encourage you to delete, clean up everything you got in your computer, do it again. Get your hands on doing it a couple of times, because one time you install, you might forget. Now make things much easier for you. If you need to do it on the fly because something is not working, you got a whole lot of junk in your code that breaks everything, or I don't know what went wrong, but sometimes I may say, hey, let's go ahead and delete everything and reinstall. So actually, I'm going to show you how to delete everything and then reinstall, because I already installed it on this computer, and now I'm going to take all of them out and then reinstall it. Okay. Wish me luck, because I hope everything goes well. I don't think there's going to be any problems. Anyway, let's do that. So how do we do that? Let's talk about JDK first. Now, the easiest way you can download JDK is by going into my page right here and by clicking right here, download Java and JDK. If you click on this, it's going to take you here, and if you click download towards the, well, let's see, it's giving me a warning here, download anyway. There you go. Notice it's downloading on the bottom left right here. I don't know if you can see better. Let's see. Right there. It might take some time depending on your download speed. I already have it downloaded in this computer, so I'm not going to worry about it right now, but it already did. Anyway, let me zoom out from here. That's one way to do this. This would be the easiest way. You don't have to worry about a thing. Now, you know by default, when you download something, Haley, which folder does all the downloads go to?
The downloads folder?
Correct.
Right?
So if you look for a folder here called downloads, and you look at all the stuff that you downloaded ever did, it's going to go in here. Let me see if I can make a little more large icons or view large icons. And it's going to probably categorize it by when. So this was today, right here. I downloaded. Notice it says JDK stuff, so that's what I just downloaded. Anyway, let me plug my computer in just one second. Hold that thought for that download for now. What if you didn't have this easy way out? How would you do that? What you'd need to do is just go to Google. And in your case, I would recommend you do it this way. Don't go the easy way. So go to Google and say, download JDK and go for 8, version number 8. Okay, you click that, enter. Generally, it's the very first one. Click on it and scroll down. Make sure it's 8 version 8. I don't want you to go any latest version. Latest versions have some issues. They don't work very well for automation. So this is a solid version, been there for years, and I want you to start with this first. So make sure it says Java Development Kit 8, meaning version 8. If you scroll down, you will see a chart like this. And in this chart, they have these files that you need for that JDK. And on the left side, it says which operating system. So these are Linux. We're not Linux. We're not Mac operating system either. We're not Solaris. We are Windows. Now, these days, your laptop may be 64-bit. This is like the bandwidth. 86 is like even more latest. So you don't want to do that. Yours are probably 32 or 64. I think they stopped making 32, but you never know. But they don't have a 32 one here, so just get this one, which is called 64. And if you click here, it's going to do the same thing. By the way, this is the file that I have it attached right here. Okay? It's the same thing. You just don't have to go Google search and go get it. But I could click on this, accept whatever they need to accept, and you download this. Now, if you're doing this for the first time, it's going to ask you to log into Oracle account. This account is free. Kind of like opening up an email account. What you need to do is create an account. Same way, right? You click on create an account. It just asks you for one time. It doesn't want to give you the file until you create one. So just do it. Put your email, password, and stuff. I already have it, so I'm not going to do that. And job title, student, whatever, whatnot, phone number, company name, just give your name. The Oracle it's not keeping track of what it is. Nothing at all. Nobody even looks at it. So put some information here. It really doesn't matter if you put, valid address or not address. Who cares? It works anyway. But you do need to fill in with some data for these fields, and then make sure your email address is accurate and password is accurate, because your email is going to become your username, and password, you have to use that to sign in. And then when you say create account, it's going to send you a email. You have to click on a link inside that email to validate this. Only then it's going to get active, because they don't want you to put fake emails and give you an account. Once you click on that link and activate, come back to this window and then put your email and password here and sign in. As soon as you do that, it's going to automatically start downloading here. Let me see if I still remember my password. Gmail. I keep forgetting. Signing in. Please wait. Resolving host down here. I think it's working. It's probably my internet access. I got like way too many things open. My kids are streaming too.
Check the speed test.
Yeah, it's gonna be very low. Look at the signal in my bedroom. Let me.
Battery is running low.
Yeah, I had to disconnect so I can walk over to the network. Just for a second. And then I'll be right back in here as well. Because there's poor signal in my bedroom. It's not gonna die. No, I may have to refresh. Let me see. Okay, let me refresh the screen. Do it again. Accept. Download JDK. Oh, there. Okay, so it did recognize my login and password, username and password, but it didn't want to respond right away. Once you put in your username and password, funny thing, it never really asks you for it. Next time you come into this window and you click this link, it's going to download it down here for you. It kind of recognizes you. So that's one good thing about that. Now you got it. I downloaded the same thing twice. One from my site, which is also the same file. And then this one downloaded from Oracle site. So you saw two different ways that you can download this. Any questions about downloading JDK?
No, no questions.
All right. If you need written instruction, if you click here, it's going to give you the same instruction that I just did right now, which is right here. There's two parts. I want you to look at it. One thing is you download. The click on the above file to download is that link that I gave you on this page, this one right here that you click on. And open download folder, which is this one. So you look at this download folder. Let me expand it out. Notice I did this twice. I got two of them. Double click on the JDK file. So here's the JDK file. If I double click on it and then follow the system prompt, meaning just see what it asks you, just say yes and accept and finish it. That's it. That's all you have to do. So let's go ahead and do that. There's a second part to it. We'll get to it right after this. So I'm going to double click this file that I downloaded. Doesn't matter which one I do. You know what? I totally forgot. I need to uninstall what I have already. So let me come back to this. I'm sorry to spinning you around like that. One thing you do have to check is your command line. This is why we taught you command line. So you go into the search box and type in CMD to open up your command prompt. And in this command prompt, you want to check to see if you already have it or not. So it's very, very important. I have just added a slide of this code that I'm going to give you. So no worries, you don't have to write this down. It's already there on the PowerPoint. You have to check to see if you already have Java. The way to check it is you type in Java, all lowercase, and then put a space and then dash and type in the word version. If you now hit enter, it's going to tell you if you have anything. If you don't have anything, it's going to say something like this. If I type in MVN, I don't want to tell you what that is right now. Notice it says MVN is not recognized as an internal or external command. That doesn't mean that doesn't exist. I just don't have that installed, and therefore it doesn't recognize. So because it's telling you Java version and it has some numbers in it, it's telling me that I have it. So CLS. Let's do it again. Java. Is this font okay, or do I need to zoom in a little bit more?
That's fine. I can see.
Okay. So dash version, and if I hit enter, notice I already have a version. So you're probably asking, why are you saying Java 8? I see it's 1.8. Actually, Java doesn't call this 1.8. They call it 8. So this keeps changing. This becomes 9 and 10. Right now there's 13. So latest Java is 13. So they call it Java 13 instead of saying 1.13. Why? I don't know. Just know it. Okay? All the other stuff that's in here, you don't care about. Okay? So this is for Java. Now, what about the Java virtual machine? So there's two parts of it, which the whole JDK has it. But if I wanted to look deeper, some computers have this, but they don't have Java virtual machine to compile the code. For Java virtual machine, you have to type in Java C, stands for compiler. So JAVA and put a letter C, which is compiler, or you can say Javac dash version. And this is also telling me I have that virtual machine installed. And this one and this one has to be exactly same. If these two are different, I am in big trouble. So you have to make sure that you have these two properly installed before you start coding and then pulling your hair out. Okay. I now have it, and I'm going to get rid of it and show you how it looks like. So let's do that. So how do I uninstall it? If I have it and it's not working, it's a mess. The way to uninstall is you go into this search box. Okay. And you type in remove, add, you can also say uninstall. That will probably be the easiest way to do that. And if you type in that, you will see your very first suggestion, add remove programs. You click on it. And that gives you this window. It's a window that pops up like this. Currently, it's in a full screen. Inside that window, you're going to see a search box right here. Let me zoom in. In this search box, type in Java or JDK. JDK, nothing comes up. Java. Okay, I got this Java 8 update, Java SE development kit. Right, click on it and uninstall. Uninstall. And then your computer is going to ask for permission. You say yes. And there you go. It's gone. Let it do its thing. Okay, that's gone. There's another one. Take that off as well. Uninstall. Uninstall. Yes. Get rid of that. And we have nothing called Java anymore. Let's back out. Let's go to the CMD. And now let's type in and see if it recognizes anything. Okay. If I go in here and type in Java-version, it says Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. That doesn't mean that I made a spelling mistake. If I type in Java compiler, JAVAC-version, it also doesn't recognize what it is. That's because I never installed it. Very good. I can install it all over again and show you how to do that. So you may have to do this. Now, I also installed the Eclipse, but before I reinstall it for you, I want to show you how to delete Eclipse. Unfortunately, that window of adding and removing applications, if I type in Eclipse here, nothing shows up. If I type in Eclipse, ECLIPSE, It couldn't find it. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to uninstall, but it's not that difficult either. What you do is you have to delete the files that are part of Eclipse. Now, generally, if you open your file folder, File Explorer, you go to your C drive, which is your main drive right here, and you open up, you go to Program Files, you check here to see if you see any Eclipse anywhere. Normally they're alphabetized, it's not here. Okay, that is your first check. Second check is you go back to this Windows and you go to Users. Everybody has one. And then with your name abbreviated, you have a folder. I don't know how you set it up. Computer asks you to set up. You will see your name there. The rest of these folders doesn't matter. You click on your name folder, and then you come to this. Inside this, you're going to see two things. One is way down here. It's called Eclipse. And then you're going to see another one called .eclipse right here. If you delete these two, you have deleted Eclipse. So all you do is right click on it and choose and select delete. And that will delete this. Okay. You go down, you go to this Eclipse folder, right click on it and choose delete. And it's deleting. It's also deleting all the files that I have and everything. And it's gone. There's an Eclipse workspace. If you want to keep your code, all your code goes in here. Okay. I just deleted the software, but all the code that I wrote is in here. If you want to delete that too, then you lost all your code. Let me see what's in there. There is this project that I created, which I'm going to create with you. If I open it up, there are these folders here. SRC stands for source code. So if I click right here, display text is a folder I created, which I'm going to teach you. If I double click, and this is my first Java program that you're going to be creating today with me. And that's right there. The code is right here. And I can reinstall Eclipse and pull this code back up, and it's going to be totally fine. But let's say I don't want it. I want to start brand new. Then let me go ahead and delete this as well. Okay. I'm going to delete that. Okay, all gone. Any questions about uninstall? Now, how do I check if Eclipse uninstalled? If you go to this search box and you type in Eclipse, E-C-L-I-P-S-E, I may have to restart the computer for it to totally die out because it's still kind of showing up. It's in here, but if I open it up, the item Eclipse that this shortcut refers to has been changed or moved. It won't let you. Do you want to delete the shortcut? Yeah, delete the shortcut. Now if I type in Eclipse, still gives me that, but nothing happens if I click on it. Okay, that's all gone. Anyway, that's all cleaned up. Let's go ahead and install Java first, then we're going to install Eclipse. So download folder, we've already downloaded it. Here's my Jdk file. If I double click on it, I don't need this anymore. Also keep looking at the bottom of the task panel because sometimes it will give you a window as it's running right there. So you may click on it and for 5-10 minutes you'll be like, Nothing is happening. What's going on? Well, you may see a blinking something on the taskbar asking for a permission from you, which actually you can't see right now in the presentation. But unfortunately, I don't know why GoToMeeting is not picking up. But what I'm seeing right now, which you're not seeing, is I see a system prompting me, are you sure you want to download this? And I'm clicking on a yes right now. I'm really sorry that GoToMeeting is not showing you that, but I just clicked on yes. Okay. Once I click on yes, accepting permission from Windows, it gives me this pop-up right here. Okay. And it's telling me this under this version is some sort of warning, but don't worry about it. Just click on next. And now it's setting up with this window. It's telling me where the Java is going to be located. It's very important that you know where it is. You're going to be using this quite a bit. It's going to be in your C drive, program files, and it's going to say Java. There's a folder there. It's going to create that folder for you. And then inside that folder, you're going to have another folder called JDK 1.8. It's going to store there. Unless you have a advanced level reason for you to restructure and put it somewhere else, which you can do this with these controls, I would recommend don't touch it, just say next. If you hit next, it's going to start downloading for you. Give it some time to do its thing. This one is telling me the destination folder is that. It's asking me again, do you want to change the destination folder? And it's also noticed going to download Jre for me as part of that JDK package. I don't want to change the folder. We're just going to say next. And it doesn't take very long. Any questions while it's doing its thing?
No, no questions. Me and Haley actually downloaded it earlier this morning, but so far we did the exact same way. So I guess we're good so far. But we had a question later on, so hopefully, you know, while you go through the process, we'll see.
Yeah. Did you while you're waiting, you can do that command line check your version and see if it shows up with the Java dash version and Java dash version.
Okay.
All right. If you get to this window, that means it's done. It gives you some other options here. You don't need to worry about it. Just go ahead and close it and finish it. Okay. So this is your final window. You closed it out. Now, what you immediately need to check is make sure it did it right. If it did it right, you go to this command line and you're going to type in, just one moment. right, guys. Let me zoom in here. Zoom in a little bit more. At this point, if I type in Java-version and hit enter, I should get this version 1.8 or version 8. Okay. But at this point, if I type in Java compiler dash version, I should get nothing. Oh, I forgot something. It's still working for me, but just close your eyes. Don't see this. I'll show you in just a second. But in your case, this is how it's gonna be. So I'm gonna set it up and show you what that is in just a second. Okay, so if you just download it and you get to here and you want to check Java version, you're gonna get the version. But if you type in Java C dash version, it's gonna say, oh man, I need to restart the computer because it's still picking up my old. Okay, so just I don't want to restart and lose the meeting, so I'm just gonna say that it's still picking up from the old connections. It's gonna show you like this: Java is not recognized as an internal or external. You have to do one more thing for Java compiler to work, and that's called setting environment variables. And I have that in here as well, right here. This is part 2, where you have to set environment variables. To do that, I'm not going to read this to you, but I'll just demo you. You can read it later. You go into this search box and you type in environment, ENV. And if you just type in that much, I think it will environment, and you might get 2 of these, but always go for the top one. So when you type in environment here, always look for the very first one, edit system environment variables. You click on that, and that's going to open up a window for you like this. Like this. Okay. You don't need to know a lot about this window. The only thing you're going to be working with is this button called environment variables. So just click here. That's going to open up another window for you like this. Okay. You don't ever have to work with this top part right here. And you will have to work with this bottom part right here, only to set a couple of things. Okay. You have, what am I doing here? Well, you are telling your processor to go look for the Java compiler where you downloaded it. Okay, that's all we're setting right here. Now, it takes a bit of a practice for you to do this, and it seems like it's pretty complicated. That's how it was to me initially. But now I keep doing this and it becomes very easy. What do you need to do? You need to put the file location right here, where to find that Java file. Then let's go find where it is. If I open my file explorer, this is not what I want. This is my downloadable file. But who can tell me where that Java file was downloaded into? Which folder?
Program files.
C drive.
C drive?
Yeah.
Then where?
Program files.
Java.
Program file. Correct. So
Oh, sorry.
C drive, you know, there's a Java here as well, but this is coming from my other experiment that I was doing. You will never see this one, okay? I was just messing around with this, so you're not gonna see that. you're going to see it in program files, exactly where the window told you where they're going to download. And you double click on the program files and you go up and down a scroll, and you're going to see alphabetically placed for you called Java. Double click on it and you're going to see two things. One, JDK, the other, Jre. You don't ever need this one, Jre. You just need JDK because JDK contains Jre. Can I delete this? I don't recommend you doing that. But every now and then this will cause some issues, and I'll show you how to fix that. Deleting that may or may not cause some issues. I don't know, I haven't experimented. But this is your heart and soul of the file. So when you get to this file right here, what you want to do is you want to click on this panel right here. Don't click on any of these words, but click on this empty space. It will shrink and give you the path. And this is where you want to be, okay? Actually, you want to go inside this so that you can see all the way to JDK show up right here. So if it doesn't show up, then you double click on it, go inside this JDK. And now if you click here and look at this, see program files, then go inside Java, then go inside the JDK, and now you have it. You take a copy of this, select Control-C, copy, you come out of it, go back into that window in this systems variable setting part. Let me zoom in. So in this part, what you do is you click this button called New. This opens up. It asks you for two things. One, what are you putting down here? And where is it located? For what, the name is always all cap. You write Java, put an underscore, and then write home. Why is it that way? This is how the software engineers have been using it for years. And they code things in a different way, and different codes recognize this name called Java home. And it's all uppercase and with underscore. So just do it that way. Don't change anything. And the path where it's located that I just copied, I'm going to paste it right here. Okay. So Java home and path. And I'm going to say OK, and that entry is going to be added right here. One of the things that your processor needs. So I'm going to say OK, and keep watching. You will see it show up right here. There. Now I got this Java home, and I got this location. So your system processor knows where to look for compiling code. Okay, that's one. You got to do one more thing. You have to have that path also inside this called path. How do I get there? You double click on it. If you double click, a window is going to pop up. So let me do that. There. All the other paths are also here. You have to paste that path in here as well. These are the only two things that you need to know. That seems a bit complex. Otherwise, it's easy. And you'll keep on doing this for a lot of other things we're going to install, program level stuff. It will become very easy for you. Now, when you want to add the path in here, you want to go a little bit deeper. Like right now, I went to program files, then Java, then we had JDK right here and Jre, and it went inside JDK, and then we took this path for Java underscore home. But for actually pasting inside the path, you want to go inside this folder called bin. It's always the same for all other installs as well that you will see when I do Maven install later on, Selenium and stuff. You will see we do the same thing. So you go inside this bin, you double click on it, and you click on this empty space. Make sure it ends with the word bin, meaning you're inside this. And there's a whole lot of Java code right here. More about this later. Can't go deeper right now. So just take that, copy that, come out, go back into that window, which is right here. Click on New in the top right corner. It's going to let you type a new line. You Control V, paste it here. Again, making sure that this ends with the word bin. That would be the only difference between this Java home that we just added here versus this one. Okay, that's all there is to it, folks. You just say okay. Make sure that you have this Java _ home, and make sure you double click on this path to see if that path all the way to bin is included in here. Once that's done, you click OK. Don't cancel, because then it will cancel everything you did. So you have to keep on clicking OK to get out of it. You keep clicking OK, then you are end with this. Don't hit cancel here either. That might change things. Just say OK. Folks, any questions about setting environment variables for Java?
No, no questions. I know what I did wrong now.
Okay. So now, if I go to command prompt, before it would have showed me, if I typed in Java version, it would say Java is not recognized. But if I type in Java now, it's going to say, this is the version. If you don't get a version for Java and Java, nothing is going to work. So that's a prerequisite, first step. And when you get that, you are done with downloading Java for your computer. Okay? Can we move on to Eclipse?
Yes, you can move on.
Okay. So this setting environment variables steps are in here, and you can do that. Obviously, not that best steps. It helps if you see it visually. It matters. Same way you can download Eclipse. Eclipse download is much easier. You don't have to do much. No systems variable to set up for this one. Instructions are also in here if you want to read about it. I don't want to download it from here. I'm going to show you how to do it complicated way. Not complicated, really. Type in Google and say download Eclipse. I want you to know this way, because this version that I have here is latest, yes, because I just did it yesterday. But 6 months from now, if I don't update this, you're gonna get the older version. You might, if you come here and do this, you're gonna get the latest version. So download Eclipse and choose any site you want. Let's see what I got. You can go to this first one right here. First link, doesn't matter. Make sure you're downloading from Eclipse Foundation though. If you scroll down, you will notice there's this download 64-bit. You click on that download 64-bit, gives you unnecessary another window that says download. Click on that download button and keep looking on your left bottom corner of your screen to see if that's working, which is down here. It completed. I know the cycle went in. Now if I click open it, it's going to open it up in the File Explorer. I can either click it here, or I can go back into this File Explorer and go to my Downloads folder. And guess what? This is the JDK I downloaded. Both of them are same thing. I have this Eclipse executable file, and I can double click on this right here to get it started as well. Let me just do that. So double click, and we're going to follow through the system prompt, and we choose the basic default. We're not going to modify anything. If nothing is happening, chances are in the back of the screen somewhere it's asking for your permission. So keep looking on the taskbar and minimize your windows. Sometimes you will see it is somewhere in the back. So let me do that. Move this guy out. I don't need that window. Don't need this. That's the presentation. Don't need that anymore. There. See how it's kind of hiding behind? And I didn't even know that it was there. So keep doing that until you see this. It's going to ask you which type of Eclipse do you want? What kind of work are you going to do? You always want to choose the very top one. This is the most developers use this one, and it has the most features and most sophisticated version, and that's what we're going to be using. It's called it's going to say Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Okay, and don't go for the other developers and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of other kinds. Those are not going to work. So for us at least. So click on this and then just follow what it says. Over here, this window is telling it's going to create a start menu for you. It's going to create a desktop icon. And this is where it's going to installation folder that, let me zoom in. It's going to be in my users, CPURI, that's my initials. And then it's going to have an Eclipse folder right there. And then it's going to have connect with Java somehow. I don't know what that is, but don't change anything. Just install and let it do its thing. Next thing is going to ask you for some security thing. And there's nothing, if you want to read about it, you can. You don't have to. Just hit accept now. If you don't accept it, it's not going to download it for you. And this might take a few minutes to get it loaded. Shouldn't take that long. The top panel, what it's telling me is that, hey, I was trying to install Eclipse, but I found some code somewhere that somebody wrote. Those are Eclipse file. It might take some time. I'm trying to put them together and organize them. All right, that's it. Done, folks. It's now asking, what do you want to do? Do you want to go ahead and launch it, get it up and going? Let's do that. So if I click launch, okay, what is this window? Let's talk about it. So when you're opening up, every time you open up Eclipse, it's going to ask you, where do you want to store your work? Okay. Now, notice that Eclipse automatically added a folder called Eclipse Workspace. I want to show you where that is. If you go to File Explorer and follow this path, so if I go to C and then go to Users, and then I go to My Name, scroll up and down. Wait a minute. Is it in the program files?
No, there is a Eclipse over there.
It is there. I'm not seeing it.
You are looking for which folder?
Okay, it didn't even create one yet. It didn't create one
Oh,
yet.
okay.
It's asking me, do you want that name? Let me zoom in right here.
Asking for workspace, which you have.
Yeah, remember I had one before
Yeah.
and
And
I
you didn't.
deleted it? Yeah. So
Workspace was not deleted. So you want to put it on the same folder or different folder? He's just asking, I guess.
right. Yes. So what it's first time, when you open up the first time, it's you can literally change the name right here. Okay. You can change it to whatever folder, and that's going to start showing up in here in this folder. But that's default. I say leave it. Now, if I click launch, it's going to create this folder here called Eclipse Workspace. And then any code you write is going to save it in that folder for you in here. So let's do that. There is a way you can just check this and then say launch. That way, it will never ask you for it. I don't think that's a good idea. I want you to put some work in this folder, and then I want you to create a new folder and put some work there. I like this window to show up because then you can say, no, I don't want to work from this folder's code. I want to change that, and you click on browse and say, I want my code from this folder, and you select that and then say launch Eclipse. Okay, so right now, don't check this, just hit launch and look at this right there. Brand new folder for you called Eclipse Workspace, and Eclipse is starting with that folder in the background. So anything you write here, it's going to get stored in here, Eclipse Workspace. And every time you close this window and close the Eclipse and pop back up again, it's going to ask you, do you want to use that same Eclipse Workspace folder, or do you want to use a different folder you're working on? Sometimes you want to separate your work into different places so that they can work independently and not mess up with codes. First time opening up, it might take a little time because it's doing its thing. Once you open up the first time, and then next times, subsequent times, doesn't take that long. So let's do this right here. This is what you're going to see first, okay? And you're going to get this welcome screen. It has a lot of things you can explore, really not needed. There's tutorials too. You can watch videos and read about it and learn yourself, but really don't need that. Top left corner, right here, you will see this X to close this out, and you can close that. And you can close this. There are multiple windows here you can expand, make it smaller, bigger, whatnot. And I will go one by one and explain whole thing throughout the course. I'm not gonna do everything all at once. We're gonna take a 5 minutes break. We're gonna come back and I'm gonna show you how easy it is to write your very first program and explain you the homework, and we should be done within an hour. Okay, so let's come back in 5 minutes. All right, folks, you all back?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we're back.
awesome. Let me do this. Let's see. So, first, when you have Eclipse downloaded, one thing you should double check is whether Eclipse was able to connect to the Java that you downloaded in your platform, or maybe you had it before. To do that, you click on Windows, on the top bar, Windows. Then you select Preferences. And it's gonna give you this window right here. In this window, you're gonna see something says Java. If you click on that or expand it, and after you expand it, you click on Installed Jre. Why does it say Jre? Why not Jdk? You said that we don't need Jre, but I'm sorry, Eclipse writes it this way. And this is where it's gonna be biggest hair pulling thing if I don't tell you now, because that was my case when I was in the training center and nobody knew why. Even the instructor didn't know, and we had to kind of figure things out ourselves. So you click here. If Eclipse properly connected to your JDK, it's gonna give you the path right here. Do you think I'm properly connected to JDK with this path right here?
I can't really tell. I think so, yeah.
Remember, it was supposed to be user, CPURI, and then Java, and then JDK. But look what I have.
Pools.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. So it automatically picked up on some mess and connected with something. If I write code now, it's not going to work. So how do I fix that? You double click on it. And then you get this window. And that's not the path. That's not where the JDK is located. So you have to change that. Then you click on this directory to choose which file you want. And you want to look for the JDK that we downloaded. So I'm going to click on directory. That gives me this file explorer that we already familiar with. Go back to the C if you want to walk from the very beginning where it was, C drive. Okay. Who can tell me where my Java JDK is?
Program files.
Correct. Not users. Users has the Eclipse, but program files has the Java. So if I click there, scroll down, there's your Java. Okay. I'll zoom in a bit. If I double click on Java, I should see two things in that folder, JDK and Jre. I don't want Jre, I want JDK. So if you click on it, it will select it for you. And then down here, you say select the folder. I think you can also double click on it. Let me try that. Double click. No, that takes you inside it. So don't do that. Just go into Java. Excuse me, my screen keeps jumping. Just click once to select it and go down here and choose select folder. When you did that, you should be able to see when it says Jre home, and I'm sorry that Eclipse says it this way, Jre home, where you have to put JDK. If you put Jre here, it's not going to work. Just deal with it, okay? Even if it says Jre, just know you don't need Jre, you need JDK. So have the JDK path here.
Because the Jre is under JDK, that's why maybe.
Exactly. Exactly. So I mean, I could do Jre, it may work halfway and then may not work fully because JDK has more stuff, more masala than the Jre, because it has the debugger and compiler and stuff. So ultimately, it is giving me Jre plus everything else. We want the JDK, not the Jre. And then if you finish it, look at this. See, program files, Java, and JDK. If that's not what you saw when you clicked here, then you have to change that and make sure that shows up. If it already shows up this way, you're good to go. And then you say apply, and then apply and close. Just for a good measure, go back in there and see if it stayed. Yep, right there. Now I can cancel, that's okay, but I'll just say apply close. You're good to go. Now we're ready to start coding stuff. Before I do anything, I want to show you how similar it looks from Microsoft Word. And see, I don't even know if I have Microsoft Word. Yeah, I do. We all know how to use Microsoft Word. I don't have a licensed version.
I use OpenOffice.
I used to when I was in college. Microsoft Word, just like it has these menus up here, Eclipse has the same. It's designed same way, okay? And it's gonna have a drop down and there are some options. I don't wanna teach you everything in one day. I just wanna show you a couple of buttons to get your job done today. And then you can have some fun. Okay. One other thing Eclipse has is this panel right here that is a bit different from Microsoft Word. This panel, it's called Package Explorer. You will notice that this is kind of similar to what we've been dealing with is File Explorer. This File Explorer and this Package Explorer is kind of sort of the same thing. Actually, it is the same, except it's going to take you deep inside the Eclipse workspace. So everything you have in Eclipse workspace is going to show up right here. Does that make sense? If you have more folders,
Yeah, that makes.
if you have more folders in Eclipse workspace folder, all of that is going to show up right here. It's not going to go any backward from Eclipse. It's not going to show you CPURI. It's not going to show you program files. Those folders now. Everything inside this Eclipse workspace is going to be folderized right here. All your code pages, you can jump from one page to the other. Everything is going to be in here. Whenever I say Package Explorer, I am asking you to point in here. Okay. Whenever I say File Explorer, I want you to open up this window where you manage your files. So they are almost the same thing. So putting this one together with Microsoft Word style, that's your Eclipse. Okay. But it's nothing fancy. You've seen and worked with similar software before. Now, what do you do? How do you create a program? Let's go to our question. So, and then I'll walk you through. And these are similar questions as in the homework. So here's the first one. Actually, let's do a hello world. This is like a classic first automation, code that people, software developers write. They call it hello world. We're going to be displaying a text that says hello world. Okay, it's simple as that. Let's zoom in a little bit here. What you do is you go into this very first menu item called File, and you click Open and go and click on Call New, because you're doing it for the first time, and choose the very top one. So the top one, and top one called Java project. Okay, Just click on that, and it's going to give you this window. And it's asking you, what name do you want for this project? Now, project names, typically we write it in lowercase. Okay, so I'm going to call this learn, lowercase, learn Java, and I put a dash in there. This is kind of like a style that automation engineers use. So learn Java, all lowercase. You can use uppercase, it won't fail anything, but I like it like that. So learn Java. This one says use default location. Notice Eclipse workspace is our folder that Eclipse is using. And learn Java is going to become another folder under that Eclipse workspace folder. And all the code is going to be stored inside learn Java. This will become a project. I can have multiple projects in same place. I can have this for Priceline, it's going to be Priceline. For hotels.com, it's going to be hotels.com project name. Understand? For my company, it's called Masergy. Okay, they have their project name, company name as their project name or whatever. All their software codes are going to go in there. Same way. Right here, you want to double check, make sure that the environment of Jre is pointing to this version 8 that you downloaded. And you don't really have to change anything, but I'm just showing you that these are kind of telltale sign that make sure everything is working fine. Nothing really to change here. All you have to do is just click on finish. So the name, give it a name of the project, make sure it's 8, and then click on the button finish. And look on the left side now. Make sure you got this. Okay, it's called Learn Java. Notice on the left side of that, there's an arrow. If I click on that arrow, it's going to drop down some other things. You're like, I never created these 2 folders inside. How did that happen? Well, when you said file, new, and Java project, it automatically gives you 2 things. One, it gives you Jre System Library. Remember we talked about that Jre has a library, but JVM doesn't? That's the library that you need. What is this library? It's nothing. It's just books, okay? If I open it up, right here, these are all books. What I mean is these are all code. They're called jar files. Notice their icon is like a jar, kind of like a cookie jar. So these are all Java code. Without this code, nothing works. No Java is going to work. These come as a systems packet. Somebody who created Java wrote this, and then that you need that to write anything else on top of it. So it is automatically given to you. You don't have to do anything with it, just leave it there. Okay? Another folder they gave you is called source code. This is where your code is going to go. So what you do is you right click on it, and then it's going to give you this window. And you want to say new. You can put a code right away, but I would like you to folderize it even farther inside. So create a couple of folders for every class session we have. Create a folder. Like today, it's Introduction to Java. I would create a folder called Introduction to Java. Okay. In Java, you don't want to say folder. Well, there's a difference between folder and a package. I want you to understand this. Folder contains stuff that doesn't need to compile. So if you have some data you want to use, you don't have a code that needs to run it, you use folder, like usernames, password, email addresses, or website URLs. and stuff like that. We're not going to use this right now. You'll see it in automation. We use it a couple of times. But a package is the same thing as a folder, except package has this magic of compiling your code. So you want to have packages where you want to write code. So you click on that, and it asks you, what do you want to name this package? This window pops up. Okay. Zoom out just a little bit more. You don't have to change anything in here. It's just telling you where it's going to be located. It's going to be under this project and under this folder. And then under that, it's going to have another slash, and then you give it a name. What do you want? You can also browse and select somebody, a package from existing if you already created one. But I don't have any, so I'm just going to create one, give it a name. We're going to call it Intro to Java. Now, package name has to be lowercase. If you put an uppercase, it's going to give me an error like this. Discouraged package name by convention. Package names usually should start with the lowercase letter. Now, it's not going to cause any errors, I think, but Java standard is all package names has to be lowercase. Okay. I will explain that. I'll connect that to you later down the road why, but it's more advanced level. But anyway, every class, we're going to name it the class. Intro. There's no space. You cannot put any space. Close the door, please. Talk to mom, close the door. Excuse me, folks. Sorry about that. Every time kid pop in the door and I forget where I was. Intro to, okay, package name, lowercase. Intro to Java. Okay, all lowercase, just leave it like that, write it like that. And then click on finish. You don't have to check these or anything. Just click finish. And now you have this source code folder. Inside that, you have a package. Icon shows up like this, which is called Intro to Java. Leave it like that. And we're going to start writing code in here. For every single code or program you write, create a separate file. What does that mean? Right now, I'm going to show you how to display a text to the user. And it's going to say, hello world. And then it's going to say a name, right? So in here, I would have to right click again. Notice I right clicked on the source and then I created a package and gave it a name and I put it right here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right click on this package, say new. This time I'm not going to choose a package anymore. What you need to select is called class. More about what class is later. But I just want you to pick this word called class. This is where all the code is going to go. That's all you need to know right now. So you say class. It's kind of like a Word document. I'm just adding a Word file. Class is like a file, right? And this folder is going to pop up, this window. All it's asking is, what do you want to name it? So we go up here, giving you some information, where it's located. It's inside this package. It's inside this source code, blah, blah, blah. It's public and stuff. You don't need to worry about that right now. All you need to worry about is writing a name. Give it a name. Now, class name always has to be, hold on. always has to be Pascal case, meaning capital. And we're going to call this hello world, HELLO world, no space, hello world. That's it. Notice the case right here. Notice everything else we used lowercase. But when we come to class or our actual code file, it has to have an uppercase to it. This is how we know that this is where the code is located, just by seeing an uppercase H and uppercase W. This is called Pascal case. All right. First letter of each word has to be uppercase. So you do that. And one other thing that you need to do in here, too much, zoom out a little bit, is something like this. It's going to say, which method stubs would you like to create? I want you to click on this, what it says, where it says public static void main string args. Not today's class, I can't explain this right now. I just want you to select that and click on finish. But I will explain that when it's time. So if you hit finish, let's go back into this. Zoom out for a second. Notice this window popped up here, and I got this file right there. Let me zoom in now. So the name that I gave, Hello World, displays right here. It's inside the Intro to Java package. I can expand, close it. Inside this, system added a few other things right here. Don't worry about it. Just close it out. I can right click. Next weekend, I'm going to right click same in the source right here, and then say new and a package and give it the name of next weekend's class, which I'm going to have it here. I'm going to organize it that way. I can collapse all of these, and I'm going to have every weekend I'm going to have a package and do all my class examples in those packages. And your job is going to be to watch this video and mimic what I did and do exactly same thing and have exactly same pieces in there. Initially, I want you to do it that way, which is like a hard way, because you're going to have to type everything what I type. Later on, when you got your hands-on skills, you don't have to do this. I will show you how you can import my code, and it will automatically populate in here for your notes. But I don't want you to do that now, because I want you to keep typing and learn yourself. Anyway, on the right side, inside this hello world, if I double click, this is what's going to open up. If you accidentally close it, you can close that. You can double click back in here, hello world, and it's going to show up again. These are called tabs. You can have multiple tabs here, another tab right here. If it gets very messy, a lot of these files are open at the same time, kind of like browser, like Google Chrome browser. It has like all these tabs open up. Same way. You can right click on this and then click close, and it will close all of it for you. Okay, it will clean that up. Every now and then you need to do that. Anyway, let's go to this hello world, and what are we gonna do? Now, everything in here has a meaning. Every word in here has a purpose. Today's scope is not to explain you what this is, but what I want you to do, I want you to write code here, where it says this green right here, to do, auto-generated method stub. You don't need this piece, but I want you to go in here. You can delete it if you want to, excuse me. But right underneath this is where I want you to write your code. Next weekend, I will explain all these special words and stuff. Today's class, only thing you need to know is how to display something to the user. Okay? And the way to do that is you type in the word system with a capital S. system, system, and we put a dot. Notice what happens if I type in system dot. Look, it's giving me options. It's telling me, hey, did you want any one of these things? Because every one of these things can do something for you under that systems. And if you ask me, where is this getting this from? It's actually getting it from this library, guys. Right here. It's picking up these codes from these codes that somebody wrote way back when Java was created. So when I type in system, it picks up some code from this library. He goes to the library and says, hey, dude, I got you. If I put a dot, you got to put a dot, and your spelling has to be correct here. This red line is telling me that there's something wrong. Well, obviously something wrong because I didn't finish it. If I finish it, it's going to go away. So if I put a dot, dot is the key in Java. So if you put a dot, it's telling you, man, I got some things that you can do here. What do you like to do? But this is all you can do. Anything outside of this, I can't do it for you. What you want to pick is out. Okay. Out. Notice it says print stream. You want that because you want to print something or display something to audience is called print. The system dot out dot. If I put another dot here, we zoom in a little bit more. It's still giving me error here. So if I put another dot, it's telling me, hey man, I got some other stuff you can do with this dot. And over here, you want to look for something called print. Print is basically display things. Now, there are a lot of ways you can print. If I don't know which one I want to choose. If I type in P dot P, it narrows down how much I can, what I have to choose from. If I type in even more, print, okay, it narrows down a little bit more. I want you to choose something called print ln. ln stands for line. You can type it like this, ln, and it would narrow it down for you. At this point, because this is grayed out right here, that means if I hit enter, it's going to select that for me. So if I hit enter, it's selected for me. And notice what happened. This error symbol went away. No more errors. And it automatically added a semicolon at the end. If you can recall from SQL class, where every time you write a SQL code, you have to close it with the semicolon. It closed it for me. That means that line of command is done, and I can do another one down here. Okay, so I got this command. This is supposed to display something to my user. It could be like your ATM machine, displaying, asking you, did you wanna, deposit money? Did you wanna withdraw cash? Or do you wanna add two numbers? Whatever you wanna say. This is it, guys. This is the line of code that they have behind that ATM machine to display stuff for you. Now, what you want to display goes in this parenthesis. Okay, it's kind of like a machine. Anything goes inside this machine is like a funnel. It goes through the machine and it comes out to the user. So we're going to put it right here. Let me zoom in a little bit more. Now, we're going to write hello world, but is hello world a, going back to SQL, is it a value or a column?
It's a value.
It's a value. I know I'm drawing ridiculous connections here. what do we do if it's a value? And if it's a string, you remember the word string?
Yeah, so you have to put colon.
You have to put what?
Colon, yeah, I mean, not colon, the
Quotation.
quotation, yeah, sorry.
Right. Single quote, double quote.
Double quote.
Now, in SQL, we did single quote, remember?
Yeah.
In Java, it's double quote. So you put shift, you press the button shift, and then single quote. And guess what? I only pressed it once, and it gave me 2 of them, because you have to put all your letters, words, and sentences inside the double quotation, and it automatically gave it to you, and even the cursor went inside it. Folks, that's the power of Eclipse or the IDE. It helps you write the code. You don't have to do a lot. Okay? And notice I didn't even align things. It's automatically kind of aligned everything for me, like the system came in with the tab and stuff. So now if I type in hello world, spelling mistake, I can type whatever I want here. Look, I can do gibberish and I get no error sign. What happens if I take this I out of here? Oh man, look at this red. And see, I can hover over the red. Here's my cursor. If I hover over, it tells me the method print, no I there, notice, print ln is undefined for the type print. Meaning, nobody wrote that method to do that, but I got 2 suggestions for you. You can either change it to print with the I, or you think you are a smart one, then you can create a method called prntln and make it do something for you. So one of those 2, you got a choice to do. Well, obviously I made a mistake. I don't want to create something. I'm not at that advanced level to create a method called prntln. So I'm not going to choose this one. And if you just click on this one, notice it fixes it for you. Okay, this is automatic error detection and correction system that Eclipse will do for you. So if you make mistakes, always make sure that you don't have any red squiggly line like this, because if you do, it's not going to work. Okay, you have to resolve these issues by reading what suggestions they provide. Either select one of those or fix whatever you need to do. But inside this quotation mark, I can write whatever I want to, and compiler or Eclipse is not going to throw me any errors, because those are considered what you want to print to your audience. Obviously, I don't want to print ABCD. Let's say hello world. Okay, and I'm done. I don't need this extra line, so I'm taking that off. Zooming out. Okay, you can hardly see. What you need to do to run it, this one extra button you need to familiarize yourself, is this DVD player play button. Okay, so just click on this play button in here. Again, zooming in a little bit more. Looks like this button right here. It says run hello world.java. Notice this is .java class. So zooming out, clicking on it, it gives me this window. Want to explain this only the first time, and then don't want to do it again. Every time in Eclipse you run something, it's going to ask you, do you want to save whatever you wrote and then run it? Well, of course. I don't see another reason why not. I don't want to save what I just did. So you might want to check this. Always save resources before launching, and then click OK, so it stops asking you over and over that do I want to save this code and then run. Yeah, I want to save it. They're okay. And now it's going to start compiling it for you. And your output is going to get displayed in something called console. Let me zoom that in. Notice right here, hello world showed up. Okay, there's the code. And here's hello world. Whatever I printed here showed up in here called hello world in this tab console. Guys, there was a lot of talking and stuff to walk you through this. I'm sure you have some questions. Any questions, folks?
No, but you make it so easy. So I really appreciate that.
You sure? You sure
Yeah.
it's easy?
Yeah, I mean, the process, it's really, because before it was so, I was like, what is that? And now I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. More so just us going back and following your instructions on how you did it, but I mean, you explained it well, so we shouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. And honestly, this is
when I look all these codes before, like I always shut down everything. I was like, okay, I'm done. But now it's really, I really appreciate it.
great, great. Good to hear that. Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, folks. I promise you. Once you see how much you're able to do, that it's going to be amazing. Now, you're probably asking, well, this doesn't look like an ATM machine. Yeah, because you're just building stuff. But when you're going to save this code in this hello world.java, this also will be converted to an exe file, and you give that file to an ATM machine processor, and they have a window for the ATM machine. And that window is going to display this. You're probably also asking, well, it doesn't display in a very nice font and stuff. Well, that can be done too, but you don't need to learn all that right now. Okay, so anything you write here, all your source code goes here, and what you want to display to your user goes into this tab called console. Now, every now and then you're like, I just ran it, where did it go? I don't see anything. Well, make sure you have selected the right tab, because these are for something else, some other information needed to debug and problem solvings and stuff like that. But you want to select what the console is. Console is where the user is going to see the information. Next weekend, I'm going to show you how you can, a window is going to pop up. Well, it's going to ask you right here. You can even input data. Sorry. I don't like this laptop. I only have to use it today. So you can even input data right here and then hit enter, and it's going to talk to you, like the program code is going to tell you what, based on whatever logic you put. Today, you just need to learn this one line of code. Now, what if I wanted to print my name here? Hello world, my name is Stein. All I have to do is just copy this whole thing. Okay, and go to the next line and paste it here. If I run it now, it's going to print hello world 2 times. Hello world once, hello world twice. I don't need that. I can change that to I am Stein. And now if I go in here and then run it with a DVD player, run button, give it a couple of seconds, comes back with hello world, I am Stein. Notice it didn't print on the same line. This method or this function, this word println command, it goes to the next line. But if I didn't want this to go to the next line, like this, I didn't want it to go to the next line, I could just take this ln off and just say print. Now it's going to print it on the same line. Okay, if I run it now, notice, hello world, I am Stein. Sometimes you may need to have a line, other times you don't want to. Your choice, you get to choose how you want to print it. Okay? Questions so far?
No, not so far.
Okay. What if I am lazy and I don't want to copy this over and over either, or definitely I don't want to type it? Is there a easy method? Sure. You can type in this code, just these words, SOUT, meaning S-O-U-T. If you just put this with the capital S, O-U-T, and press the control button and the space bar, notice it gave me these options. And out of this option, print to standard out is what I want. So if I click here and hit enter, it automatically typed all that for me. So it's your choice, whichever you feel easier, either to copy paste down here or type in, again, SOUT, capital S-O-U-T, control space bar, and choose this. Or you can also type in system out, sysout, S-Y-S-O-U-T, and then control space. Notice it didn't even pop up any window, and it did it that way. Now, yours may be different from mine. I've seen all variations. My other computer, just I have to do SOUT control space, and it gives me that. Okay. And now I can type in something else here. And this one I wanted in a different line is I am an automation engineer. Okay. And then go to the DVD player button, run it, look in the console, and hello world, I am Stein. It didn't give me a line for this because it gave me a line after this. It didn't give me before. If I want a line before this, I have to use this one as a ln. So it gives me a line break right after this Stein. So if I run it now and look down here, hello world, I am Stein, and then it gave me that line break. I suppose I don't even need this line right here. Run it again, same thing. Hello world, I'm Stein, line break, which is this one, and then I am an automation engineer, and then that came in right here. Questions so far?
No.
No, not so far.
Okay. If you don't want Java to read your code, read your typing, you can put these two forward slashes and comment it out. The word is commenting out. Commenting out. Okay. Commenting out meaning whenever you put these forward slashes, Java is not gonna even read it. Java will come to here, execute that code. We'll go to line number 8, execute that code. Line number 9, execute that code. Line number 10, I don't care. Okay, what else you got? Then it's gonna go down here and then print something else. Okay, so system out space. What if I wanted to print out some numbers? Do I need quotation?
No.
We don't need quotation. You can just do whatever like this. Numbers, and then run it. And there's your numbers. Why didn't I get a line? Because the previous one didn't have a line in it. If I do ln, run it. Now I got a line, and then I got a number. With me so far?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if like, hey Stein, can you give me another way to copy this? I'm even lazier than that. I don't want to type in south. Can I do that? Sure. How? Notice I can put a comment right here and put notes. Java is not going to compile that. What you type in is Control Alt down arrow. So CTRL. I'll post this on the website so you have it. Control plus, you don't have to take notes. Alt. And then down arrow. Now, I don't promise it's going to work for everybody. I've seen it. For some it works, and some it doesn't. If you put your cursor here and press Control Alt down arrow, it's supposed to automatically copy this whole line number 11 down. And it's not working for me. What if I take this thing down here and press it? Not doing it. Every time I am on GoToMeeting, it doesn't work. And every time I'm not, it works. So I don't know what's up with that. So you try it out. If you press this, you keep your cursor here and press Control Alt down arrow, this whole line, it will get copied and placed right here. It makes my life much easier in writing code. I use that like all the time. Anyway, there's your text, folks. There's your numbers. Now let's do a class practice, explain the homework, and be done with it. So zoom out of here. Let's go back into this. Here's our practice number 1. Write a Java program to print the sum, multiplication, subtraction, divide, and remainder. So here's what they're asking me to do. They want me to add this 25 to 24, subtract, multiply, and divide. We're going to do this into our Java program. The beauty of our program is we can do this operation right where we type in the print stuff. So let me see. This might get pretty tiny, but I'll zoom in. What my first question is asking me is they want me to add this 125 plus 24 and output out 149. So I can just 125, I forgot. 125 plus 24. I can just do that right here. This window is bothering me. I can close this out. Don't need it right now. 125 and then put a plus sign, 24, and voila. If I hit the play button and scroll down, it added for me. So that was my task, okay? I don't want to do that here. I want to do it on a different class. So let me just take this off. And come back in here. And we're going to say, what is this question? Add, subtract, multiply, divide. So arithmetic. So I'm going to have another class file here called arithmetic or algebra or PEMDAS. What you do is you right click on this package, not this or not the source file, on the package, because you want another one inside the package. You click on new and a class where your code is going to go. Same way that we did before. Asking for what do you want to name it? We call it arithmetic. Okay, we're going to add, subtract, multiply, divide stuff. Scroll down here. Remember I told you for now, always pick this public static void main. I'll explain this later to you. And then finish. Look on the left. You got another one called arithmetic. And notice it opened up for you right here in this tab. You don't need this tab anymore. You can close this if you want to for the hello world stuff. Closing it. It says, do you want to save changes? Yes, always. In this, again, same thing. My code is going to go right under this, to do. This is where I'm going to do my stuff. Go down here, and I'm going to do my work. Your homework is kind of like this. It's going to have you add all this stuff. So 125 plus 24, I'm going to go in and add that. Wish I could just copy it from there. Let me show you a trick here. What you can do is copy your work inside here so you can do things. You don't have to go back and forth. So I'm going into my PowerPoint presentation. So when you are doing your homework, you do it the same way. You copy your question inside your program. Here's my questions. I copied it, and I'm going to go back in here. And I'm going to paste it. Control V. Immediately Java is going to complain. He's like, what are you doing? This is not code. What you do is put / and tell Java, don't worry about it, man. I don't want you to do anything with this. I just need it for me. So you put /. I'm just hitting a backspace to align it. There's another way fancy way to align things. It's showing me a bit of an error. It's telling me that there may be a spelling mistake or something, but you don't have to worry about that. As long as you have this /, you're good to go. Now, this is my question, and I'm going to answer these questions right here. So let's do that. Let me pull this down a little bit. Here's my first question, question 1, or A, and B. I'm making it look nice. You don't have to do this. I don't care if you did it. C, D, E. So I'm going to do my A1 first right here. Answer to A. I would have to add these two and print out 149. So I'm going to do sys out space tab. And because it's number, I don't have to do anything. Guess what, guys? I can just copy this whole thing right here. Copy and paste. Ta-da! I'm done. Run it with the DVD player. And I got the answer. Any question?
No.
Okay.
No questions.
If I want to be fancy and submitting my homework, I would take this, copy, give it one space, paste it, back out, take the next line, copy, paste it right inside those parentheses. It's not only going to subtract the 24 from 125, but it's going to display the result right after that. Hit the play button in the DVD player. Our first answer was 149. Second one was 101. Okay. What if I wanted to print like this? And instead of writing this, I could put double quote and write A colon with the space. Looks nice that way. Now if I run it, this A colon space will come first, and I don't want a line underneath that. So I want it on the same line, and then give me the results, right? Run. There you go, guys. A colon, and then the answer, 149. Hey, I am zooming in here, but I don't see yours. I'm looking at another computer, like how you're seeing it, but it doesn't zoom in there. Is that the case? Do you see any zoom in or out?
Sometimes works, sometimes it not.
Man, that's horrible. I'm just noticing that. I'm like, see, I'm zooming in right now, but you all have been seeing it in a very tiny font.
Yeah, I think it works on the desktop or other computer you did, but not in this computer.
So did the zoom feature work before when I presented?
Yeah, I mean last week it was working fine, and today also some of the Zoom was working, but
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Let me see if I can increase the font here. You should have told me. What's this? Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Hey, folks, any step of the way, if you can't see better, please stop me. There's always ways to make the presentation look nicer. You don't have to suffer through your eyes training. Okay, just let me know. Any questions so far?
Nope, not so far.
Okay. Do you want me to do these, or do you got it? Can we move on?
I think we can
No,
move
yeah,
on.
we got it. You can.
So it's just gonna be repeat. I'll do the same thing over and over for these. Copy this whole math thing inside this parenthesis, and it's gonna display back out for you. All right. Okay. Next question. It's asking me to print this image. Okay. How am I going to do that? Let's create another file. And we're going to say print a face as a class. So let's yeah. Right click on this package, go to new, go to class, give it a class name, print a face, check this public static void main, finish, gives you a brand new tab with again to do. So let me take a look at the face. It has this plus and then quotation, 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 plus that quotation is gonna be a mess because it's not gonna want to print that quotation. So sys out space that. Let's do it one at a time. First of all, if I wanted to print this plus sign, the mathematical operation, if I put a plus sign, let's see if it shows up. It showed up, which is fine. How would I show up this print, this quotation? If I put quotation mark, bunch of quotation, and then a plus, is it gonna show up?
Error, I guess.
It's gonna give me an error because the quotation is designed for something that Java thinks you wanted to print whatever inside the quotation. But Java is confused if you want to print the quotation. Okay, this is where you have to use something called a backslash or maybe forward slash. I can't remember. Let me double check. So backslash quotation. If you did that, and now if I print it, I got this plus and then one double quote right here. Okay. What the backslash tells Java is that, hey man, I don't want you to treat the next letter like you always treat. You don't treat that quotation like a quotation. I want you to just close your eyes and print it. And that's what happened here. Understand? So if I wanted to print another one, I would have to put a backslash quote. And you have to have exact same number of those. So backslash double quote, backslash double quote, backslash double quote. This is called escape sequence. If you have it wrong set, you're going to get an error. Let me run this now. There, I got this. Okay. Now I can put a plus. Shift plus. Oops. Yeah. And now if I print this, am I getting there?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, one extra. Don't need that. My next line, I got this bracket and then these absolute bars and then these circles I can use like a letter O maybe. So let's see. Let me copy this down. Next line. Bracket, square bracket start, then what? An absolute bar. So for put a space, absolute bar is shift backslash. That gives me absolute bar. Then I got like a 0 or an O. Put an O. Give it a little space. These are for the eyes. Another O. Another space. Maybe too much. And then another that with the space and a close bracket, close square bracket. Let's print this out and see if it looks okay. It doesn't look okay. I need to put some space here to space these guys out. How about now? Let's run it. Is that all right?
You need to, yeah, space on the beginning.
Like
and
this one?
before the end.
Like here?
Yeah, the two plus signs. The two plus signs needs to be in more. Yeah.
More innerward,
I
right?
don't know. Yeah, more in towards the head.
like that?
The pipe and the plus sign will match. The pipe and plus sign. So, sorry, the absolute bar that you're saying.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You're right. So maybe I don't need a space here.
Yeah, I think that will work right now.
Better?
Yeah,
And
better.
probably I don't need spaces here then.
Yeah.
Maybe had it the first time I had it better. On need a little more space. You can add another one if you want to. Okay. You don't have to be 100% accurate on this. Better?
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe no space here. Space coming together.
Yeah.
Do you need me to finish this or you got this?
I got this.
We got this,
Haley?
yeah.
Haley, how you feeling?
You got it, babe? Yeah, she feels good.
Okay. All right. So just practice together, and you have to keep on adjusting until you get your output right, and that will become your answer. Okay. I have another one. This one is it's more mathematical. Like, look at this scientific formula here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that. Go back in here. This is my third example. So I'm going to click on, right click on this intro to Java, new class, another one, call it scientific formula. Check the public static void main. Click finish. It will set it up for you. Go underneath this green to do stuff. If you wanted to post what you wanted to do, which is this mathematical operation, you can post it here. Java will not do anything. It's commented out. Now, if I want to write code, I would say sysout space tab gives me the whole thing automatically. You can copy this whole thing, no matter how complicated. No quotation needed because of numbers. Paste it in here, and always double check your answers, because sometimes you may need some extra brackets to tell the compiler what mathematical operation to do first. If you remember in your 9th grade Algebra 1 PEMDAS rule, you follow that. But anyway, let me keep on run. And I got 2.9760. And the correct answer is 2.976046. So that's it. That's it, guys. This is all I have for you. Easy or hard? Can you handle these?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can handle that.
Awesome. Then let me show you your homework. And what I'll do is I'll take this code. You can watch the video and see this. Mimic it, write it down. I want you to create this classes on the left side. So that will be your number one thing that you should do as part of your homework, is have exactly the same thing that I have, mimicking the video. Second thing, if you go to your Google Classroom, go to Automation Engineer and go to Classwork. Expand the homework. Let me go here. Your first question says just print hello and your name. Okay, and this is an example. So write a Java program to print hello on screen and then print your name on a separate line. And expected output is like an example of the answer, how it looked like, or in your console, this is how it should look like. Write a Java program to print the sum of two numbers, and here's the number given, and your print console output should look 110. This one for dividing, it should look like this, and this one you're going to have to do all of these. Okay. For homework, you don't need to have separate classes. You copy this whole thing if you want to in that same one class that you're going to create. You're going to call it homework, and then if you want to say intro to Java or intro to Java homework, that will be your name of your class. So something like this, homework intro to Java. Let me just write it like a name of it. Okay, homework intro to Java. Here's a whole bunch of these, so just do that. You just copy paste it in there. Your output should look like this. Print everything on the second line, right? If you want to be nice and fancier, you can put a text right before it saying answer to A is, and then that answer to B is that, you know, more the better. This one you have to print LV, so just keep spacing and playing around with spaces and next line to see if you can print this. Number 6 is printing an American flag, and it may not come exact, but do the best you can. Any questions about the homework?
No, so first one you were saying that we need to make a video or something.
Video?
No, I mean we have this homework. Any other homework other than that?
This is it. There are 6 questions right here that you have to complete, and you do it in one class. So I want to see that you have these: arithmetic, hello world, print a face, scientific formula, and you create these classes, okay? If you don't, hey, it's okay, that's fine. If you just want to do the homework, that's fine. And your homework should be also this naming. You want to keep it organized this way. I want you to think it like this. This is like the beginning of a school, and you have a notebook. This is your notebook. If you keep your notes organized, every once in a while, we're going to have to come back and look into this folder, what we had. And I may have to bring you backward to refresh your memory on this, okay? So all of us, we should have the same number of classes. Each classes should have different, you know, methods or types of things. And things are gonna get more and more complex, but I'll, you know, make it easy for you, but we'll have it in here. Your homework should be right-clicking here, intro to Java, and then going into new class called homework intro to Java. Actually, even if you don't want to write that, that's fine with me, because this is the only homework that's going to go inside this package. It's not going to mess up with the other packages we're going to have. So if you want to just write it homework, and then say public static void main, finish, and there you have your homework, and it opened up here. You go to Google, you read number 1. If you want to copy this whole thing, this question, you can. Number 1, I would. If my professor asked me, do this, I would do this first. I'll copy the question and comment it out like that. And then I would do my sys out, and I go back in there, and it says hello world and my name, so I would do hello world and another one of these. my name is Stein. And then every line you write, if there is an error, you have to resolve the error before you move forward. Otherwise, you'll be in a big trouble. And I look at my output. I'm happy with my output. I'm good. Hey, if I wanted to be even fancier, I know my output doesn't say this is coming from question 1. I could even print question 1 right here. So I could copy this, go up here, paste it. I wanted to say right before I say hello world, I could say question 1. Okay. Now, if I run it, and there's my question 1, and there's the answer. Okay. And I could have another space right here. What if I wanted to just have a blank space? What you can do is have this, copy that. If you put a space here, that doesn't mean a computer is going to give you a space. I can put a space here and paste this. It's not going to give you a space. Watch this. No space. But what it will do, let's say if I wanted a space between this question 1 and hello world, I have to put the same line like this without any writings on it, like that. No writings. And I have to take this guy, cut that off, and put it between these two guys. So I'm just taking nothing, writing nothing, and giving it a line break. Now if I run it, I got this space right here. With me so far?
Yes.
Now, I'm not asking you to be all this fancy. And I'm not going to grade you on all that being fancy. As long as you give me the very bone basic that I wanted, which is hello world. If you don't want to do that and make extra work on you, that's up to you. But if you feel lucky, if you feel like I like this and I want to enjoy this, I want to make it look nice, you spend time on it, guess what? You're just going to get better at it. Okay. And there's a whole lot to explore with this spaces and quotations, and you can become so creative and fun. If you do that, folks, that's when you're making a change between who you are now and who you want to become. So I challenge you and I encourage you, take this as far as you want to. There is no end to it. Okay. And if I were you, yeah, I would be fancy. I would try to do things nice. And those are the people that are successful. When your code looks nice, your output looks nice, people pay attention to you. They will like your work, and so forth. Okay. Question about that?
No question.
How are you going to submit your work? You copy this part only. You don't have to copy everything else. Just take everything from here, all of it, copy, go to your homework, and just like you submit, you say create, doc, and in your doc, you submit and you turn in. Any questions about that?
No.
Okay, any questions before we end the class today, folks?
No, no question.
Okay, awesome, guys. Thank you so much. I hope this was easy, and I hope you stay interested in it, because I'm going to take you far, and you'll be able to do things amazing. And folks, the biggest fun starts when you start Selenium, and that's going to be about a month from now, maybe a month and a half at the very most. Soon as you get that Selenium code, which is piece of cake on this Java, you're gonna see your computer acting like a human, opening site, clicking on things, and that's when you'll be like, wow, this is like magic, like a ghost operating your computer. And you'll be like, I can do this? Wow, my simple code can do this? So stick around. do your very best in Java, and you're going to have a lot of fun. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend. I'll see you next Sunday because I do need that Saturday to prepare for you. If you try to cram me too much information, I might lose you guys. I'd rather give you a strong foundation and slow now so that I can pick up the pace later on when we get to Selenium. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
All right. Goodbye.
All right. Bye-bye.